Welcome back to the Fire Emblem Gauntlet, where we take beloved Fire Emblem characters and put them up against every class in the game one by one until they perish. In the last episode we put Lilina through the gauntlet, and after she got her ass handed to her, she went back to Ostia and cried to daddy. So in this episode, Hector is ready to kick some ass. Lots of people wanted to see Hector, some of which are on screen now, so make sure you comment your suggestions below for characters you want to see run the gauntlet. As always, the enemy classes are arranged in a rough order of how challenging they are to fight, and we will see how many of the 16 classes Hector can beat before he dies. Feel free to leave a comment with your prediction for how many classes he'll defeat in a comment as well. All the enemies in the gauntlet have iron weapons and are set to level 20 unpromoted, with a couple of levels of hard mode bonuses for extra spice, and Hector is also set to level 20 with an iron axe and some vulneraries in his inventory. I've made 2 changes since the last episode based on suggestions from you guys. The enemies used to be placed on this tile here, which meant that they were in range of the doors, so they were always able to attack the player unit first, which favoured units that are enemy phase focused and have high defense. So I've moved the enemies back into the corners of the room's 2 tiles, and I can't make the rooms any bigger because of the maximum map size in FE Builder, but it does mean that some of the enemies now can't reach the door, so the player has more chance of initiating the combat and attacking first more often, so it's a bit more balanced. The second change is with PRF weapons. I still maintain it's not fair to compare a run with a unit using a PRF weapon against units that don't have one, but what I will be doing from now on is giving a second bonus run using the PRF weapon just to see how far they can get, and we'll put that onto the table in a separate column. Obviously these changes mean we need to update Roy and Lilina's scores on the table, which we will do after Hector does his runs, so make sure you watch through the whole video to see how all of that pans out. So let's take a look at our champion. At level 20, Hector has got some pretty beastly stats. Right off the bat, 18 strength, 18 defense. That is absolutely phenomenal. Even his speed isn't actually that bad at 12. He's got some pretty good growths in the base game, so having these average stats here at level 20, he's pretty bulky, 36 HP. He doesn't even have like low skill. The luck and res is still okay, so I think we are going to have an absolutely beastly run from Hector here. He's probably going to be one of the best performing units we see. So let's see how he does. He's going to have some hit rate issues against some of these units, but he's taking 0 damage, doesn't really make a difference. So Hector does suffer from skill issues here, not actually because of a low skill stat. I think he had 13. Yeah, 13 is pretty solid. It is just thieves are quite dodgy and they've got weapon triangle on him. With a unit like a soldier here, 1 damage. Oh my god, Hector is a beast. Jeez. Yeah, Hector's going to do well in this. He's going to go far. Hector is my favourite lord for a reason. I think his personality is really quite entertaining, and when it comes to his animations, they are my favourite in the games. I absolutely love them, but then also he just performs well. His stats are pretty solid. Axes are a good weapon type. Having such a bulky lord really makes a change, because generally speaking lords are pretty squishy units in the Fire Emblem games, at least in the GBA ones. The main thing he suffers from in FE7 is just how late his promotion is, and it doesn't really give him that much. So he does very well in the early game, but then once you get a little bit further into the campaign, he's just really struggling to do anything that meaningful in terms of contribution. He can definitely do some stuff still, but his potential is nowhere near as good as it would be if he could promote much earlier in the campaign and maybe got a little bit more out of the promotion. Hector is flying through this. He's just not I haven't had to use a single vulnerary yet. He just doesn't take damage. He just 18 defense is so high, and even, to be honest, even though he hasn't got weapon triangle against these axe units, he's actually got fairly good avoid against them, which was surprising. I really thought that they would have much higher hit rates than, 50%. So he's dodging the odd one, and even when he doesn't dodge, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not even caring about how I play particularly here, because he's just demolishing these units. Going to heal up with these vulneraries here. I think we are going to see him go very close to the end. I do wonder if the magic units will be a little bit too much for him, but I think he is going to absolutely destroy most of these units. Okay, I had a miss there, but it just really doesn't matter that much in the grand scheme of things. He's just so unbelievably powerful. Most of the enemies he is actually doubling. I didn't think that 12 speed would be enough for him to do that, but it does seem to be the case. This doesn't actually matter how quickly he defeats him, whether he gets hits or not, because taking 0 damage the whole time is just how Hector does things. He just shrugs off everything. Now we're getting into more interesting territory. Oh wait, no we're not. He still does 0 damage. Okay, crikey, I don't know if any of the enemies are going to be able to cause too much of a problem for him. Wow. There's definitely other units that can match his performance here, but I do think we might have our first clear of the gauntlet, potentially. This mercenary is doing 1 damage, which is slowly adding up a bit, but we've still got a lot of vulnerary uses. The next 2 enemies are potentially the 2 scariest that Hector's going to have to deal with. Wow, he still massively outclasses him, even 13 damage, but he 1-rounds him, so that's really good. Okay. Well, he made very short work of that mage, and now we're going to put him up against the shaman. The shaman, unfortunately, does, I think, 15 damage against him, so I think I'm probably going to use this last vulnerary now, just to make sure that he doesn't double hit, because he's going to get a free attack in here. And then, yeah, if he hits both of them, I would be facing death on this combat, but hopefully this should be a 1 round here, and I mean, I'd really love it if he misses this. Unfortunately, Hector is now down to 6 HP with no healing left. And I don't know how scary this is going to be. Oh, 24. Okay. Yeah, no, he is going to damage Hector. I don't know if he's going to beat this. I might have... Oh, good dodge. Okay. Oh, we might have this in the bag. Okay, yes. He beats the Wyvern on 1 HP if he does get hit. Okay, it was a good dodge. Okay, I was a little worried that we weren't going to get a clear. We do now technically have all 16 classes defeated, and now on 6 HP, Hector is going to go in against the extra super special boss that I've not really shown off before, and that is the civilian girl with an extra special ranged Uber Spear. So, yeah, I don't actually know how much damage she does. 30 attack, so, ooh, okay. Yeah, okay. I think Hector's done here, but he did clear all and a crit. Oh, nice. But we are not done with Hector yet, because we're going to do his bonus run with the Wolf Bale. It has higher might, which is quite nice, but it's mainly the effectiveness against a couple of these enemies at the end, which might save him a little bit of HP. He's probably just going to beat all 16 exactly the same as he did with an Iron Axe. He doesn't need his professional weapon to beat every class in the game. Hector is just that strong. I'm pretty much going to be skipping through a lot of this just because it's going to be exactly the same as the first time, and we're probably not going to see much difference in it. We'll just show off the battles against the Cavalier and the Armor Knight because, again, it's nice to see glowy numbers with big damage, and 1-rounding units is fun. Speaking of 1-rounding units, he might take 1 damage. No, he dodges that too. Hector is an absolute god, even without the Wolf Bale, but it does make it a little bit nicer. Oh, and a crit, just for style points, very nice. I think the Wolf Bale has 5 crit, so yeah, it's not much, but hey ho, you can't complain. Okay, that's the Wyvern done. That is all 16 cleared with healing to spare, which is a very Hector thing to do. 6 damage, 11 taken. Yeah, he's not really gonna have much of a chance here. Even with weapon triangle advantage, he's still taking massively high hit rates. And also he can attack from 2 range, or she can attack from 2 range with bugged animations. That's good to see. Okay, I don't know if anyone will be able to beat the child and truly defeat the gauntlet. He's beaten the gauntlet, but he hasn't defeated this completely vanilla, definitely in the normal games child that I've put here for fun. So that is Hector's run. He's done very well. Before we put him on the table officially, we are going to make the changes to Lilina and Roy's runs here. Pushing the enemies back slightly into the corners did mean that Lilina got an extra point. Rather than 9, she now has gotten 10 because the Myrmidon that originally 1-rounded her, she was able to attack him first. So when he attacked her, she could kill him on counter attack before he doubled her in order to kill her completely. So she managed to get that extra win in there, so that got her up to 10 points. Roy was actually a very interesting one. He has had a bit of a change as well, because in the first video I did, I let FE Builder get him up to level 20, which gives them random level ups. So he was actually a very blessed Roy. He had like 2 points more defense than he should have done, and a few other bonus stats as well, and it actually made a really big difference. He got 11 in the first video, and then we bumped it up to 12 when we gave him an extra vulnerary because we decided that was more balanced. And then now he's gone all the way back down to 10 because the average stats at level 20 that I've run him with this time is actually a lot lower. It's what he should have. Those are his average stats, but it does mean that the first run we did was quite inflated. So he is on the same pegging as Lilina, but we have got his bonus run to consider as well. With the rapier, he has got slightly higher might and accuracy and some crit on there as well, just for fun, but it is mainly all about the effective damage against, I guess the Nomad is in there as well, but it's mainly about the Cavalier and the Armor Knight. With the effective damage, he was able to clear those enemies quite convincingly and actually get onto some of the later enemies, and he actually managed to get 15. He managed to defeat every single enemy except for the Wyvern and obviously the bonus child at the end. But he did do very, very well. So his bonus column score with the rapier is going to be a 15. And then we can add Hector on here with 16 in his Iron Axe vanilla run, and then also 16 with his Wolf Bale. We have got our first kind of clear for the run, our first 16 out of 16. We will see how other people do. I would still like your submissions for what characters we would like to put through the gauntlet next. I would encourage you to comment with your suggestion even if you've already done it before, just because the more times I see that name in the comments, the more likely I am actually to pick them and put them in. I'm pretty much doing it as a sort of popularity vote at this point. Make sure you show your support for Hector and his abs of steel, and I will see you in the next video.